There are desktop lasers that do wood, and then there are desktop lasers that do metal. Finding one that switches between both, stays compact, and is quick enough for on-site jobs is rare. Well, this one aims to be that machine. This is the LaserPecker LP5. This is a dual source galvo engraver with a 20-watt fiber laser for metals and a 20-watt blue diode for organics. It is built around speed, portability, and add-ons like a slide and a rotary so you can take on more varied work in a small footprint. At the current asking price though, it certainly doesn't come cheap. It actually fits in the premium territory for creators and small shops that need metal and non-metal engraving in one box. But could it really be a viable option for the average consumer? So is this product truly worth that asking price? Well, let's first start by unboxing it. So depending on what version you go for, it will depend on what you get in the box. Here I have the business bundle, and to be fair, I will say it arrives very neatly packed. In the box you get the LP5 laser unit, the electric stand, a protective cover with an exhaust outlet, the slide extension, the rotary extension, and all your cables along with a security key, safety glasses, and a lot more. To start, let's assemble the stand and head. You just simply place the stand on the base plate, then use the supplied hex key and 4 screws to secure it. Then you slide the laser unit onto the cantilever and tighten a knob until it is firm. Step 2 is to fit the protective cover and hose. This is pretty dead simple, you just align the tabs and tighten the 2 top screws. When it does come to the hose, you can just simply clip on the front filter and then connect the exhaust hose to either a purifier, or if you're like me, you can just use a window vent. This just keeps light in and fumes out, which can be quite important in the engraving process. Not only for safety, but overall results. And that's really it in terms of setup if you have the basic machine. You can't deny that LaserPecker have done an exceptional job at making the setup process dead simple. Now we can just plug in all the cables and the security key, which acts as a safety switch. That's basically it. Pretty dead simple. Now for the most reliable first run, you can use the USB-A to USB-C cable to connect the head to your computer. Thankfully though, this unit does have wireless Wi-Fi configuration, and I will say Wi-Fi is certainly a quicker option. I barely ever use the USB connection. Now when it comes to the software you can use, there are 2 realistic routes. LaserPecker Design Space, which is the official software on Windows, macOS, iOS and Android. Or you do have the option of Lightburn, which works for basics but does not support everything on the LP5. If you want every LP5 feature, stick with LaserPecker's own software. It certainly is the best option. Now before we get into usage, we do need to focus the laser. To do this, you can simply place a scrap piece on the base plate and enable the dual red dots in the preview. Then raise or lower the electric stand until the 2 red dots merge into one. Now LaserPecker's current guidance calls the focal distance at 152mm plus or minus 2, and that's measured from the field lens to the material. But as a whole, the focusing procedure with this machine has been made to be very dead simple. It is just a matter of getting those 2 red dots to merge into one, and with those buttons on the side, it's dead simple. Now before I talk and show more of the engraving process, I do need to talk a little bit about the design and build quality, because it certainly reflects the asking price. Once built, the footprint is very compact. The open base design means you can drop the machine over a large workspace when a flatbed would get in the way. If you buy the safety enclosure, the LP5 becomes a closed Class 1 setup with an integrated camera and a door sensor, which certainly makes sense for shared spaces. Unfortunately, I didn't have this to hand, but I will probably get this in the near future, as for stationary engravings, this is beyond the most efficient and cleanest way of doing it. The whole thing weighs about 6 kilos combined, so it is easy to carry between rooms or jobs. And I do believe that is the main selling point here. It is a portable machine. The accessory ecosystem is the biggest story. The slide extension expands the field for batching and signage, while the rotary extension gets you mugs, bottles, and jewelry pieces with proper good wraparounds. Thankfully, both integrate through the same software, so you're not juggling extra controllers. When using LaserPecker's design space, these accessories really do become an extension to this machine, and they aren't hard to use at all, and I will talk about them a bit more later. Now, what's great is you can use the rectangle or outline preview to confirm the placement of any design you have on your intended surface. This just allows an easy way to make sure everything is lined up ready for engraving. As said earlier, you get 2 genuine 20-watt sources in one head. The 1064 NM fiber marks and engraves metals and engineering plastics with pretty darn clean details, whereas the 450 NM diode handles your woods, leathers, slate, dark acrylic, stone, and the usual organic options. That spread is the headline here. From such a compact machine, you're getting quite a bit in one unit. The Galvo system is rated up to 10,000 millimeters per second. In use, I can't deny it feels properly quick on things like logos, serials, and small batch runs where mirror movement beats gantry travel. The fine spot really helps with tiny text and crisp logos. Thankfully, we do have plenty of area to work with. The standard field is 120 by 160 millimeters. If you do fit the slide extension, you can expand the reach to 160 by 300 millimeters. Now, this is ideal for things like signage, rows of key rings, or larger panels like larger bits of wood like a chopping board. Because the Galvo stays still and the work moves, you actually keep the fast characteristics of this machine. Now let's get into the engraving, because that's really where this machine shines. Now, starting with wood, it takes diode engraving pretty well, but the species and finish of the wood will make a big difference. Light, fine-grained woods like maple, birch, and beech give the cleanest detail and highest contrast, while oak and walnut look moodier, but their open grain can soften tinier text. Needless to say though, I can't deny a simple wood engraving is straightforward, and the software really helps giving you a clear idea of all the settings you need. Once you dial them in and ensure the unit is level, the engraving results look rather tidy. Thankfully, on their own website, you have all the information you need to know what engraving settings to use. There's not really much guessing work you need to do here. It is probably best to start with a single pass for crisp edges, and then add a second if you want a deeper, darker look without scorching. Now, an aluminium alloy sheet is an excellent surface for engraving a cat portrait or any portrait of any kind, especially when you want a clean, premium looking result. Anodized aluminium works best for this, as the fiber laser strips the dye away and reveals a bright, high contrast mark that really brings out fur texture, whiskers, and facial detail. The depth separation you get in the eyes and nose is particularly striking when the settings are dialed in. And I can't deny what I got from this was a really impressive result. Just being able to open up the app on my phone, place a simple portrait in, using the settings on their website, and getting results like this so quickly, well, you can't deny it certainly makes the asking price a bit more realistic. As mentioned earlier, the slide extension just gives you more room to work with. And because I like engraving on chopping boards, this is where this could come in very handy. You can get a massive design within the design suite, ensure everything is lined up, and then you can go within the settings and enable the slide extension. The machine will stay still while the slider does all the work. The end result is a much bigger design you wouldn't get from the standard machine alone. So as an add-on goes, it's certainly worth the money. Now, all in all, the LP5 makes sense if you want a compact machine that can engrave things like jewelry and or brand tumblers or wooden stock. It is not cheap, and I can't deny that, so do keep that in mind. And there are a few things like presets and time estimates that could be richer. And because Lightburn isn't exactly completely compatible with this, it might be a bit of a deal breaker for some. But I will say the LaserPecker design suite on both laptop and phone is pretty good. They have made it so that it is very user friendly. If you can live with those trade-offs, I can't deny this is a fast, flexible, and capable tool for creators and small businesses that need metal and non-metal in one body. This is certainly a machine that's worth a thought in 2026. As always, be sure to check this product out in the link in the description. Let me know what you think. Till next time.